Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Off-Farm Income Podcast. Welcome to episode number 795, and thank you for joining us here on our YouTube channel. Well, today we are going to talk a wide array of interests coming out of the FFA. Our guest, Lyndsey Averbeck, is coming to us from Okawville High School in Okawville, Illinois, and she's going to be talking to us all about her food, science, and technology supervised agricultural experience, and then how she's taken what she's learned both in the FFA and high school in general, and she is molding that into a future career in the insurance industry. Really, really interesting. We'll get that started for you right now. Joining me today is Lyndsey Averbeck, and she is coming to us from Okawville High School in Okawville, Illinois, where she's going to be talking to us about her supervised agricultural experience and her time in the FFA. Lyndsey, welcome to the show. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. I am excited to speak with you. I'm glad we finally got to connect.
Me too.
All right. Well, here's what I love to do. I love to start off just by finding out just a little bit about you, the guest on the show, and kind of letting the audience get to know who you are. So if I asked you just a few questions about you and who you are, would that be all right?
Yes, of course.
All right. Well, how old are you?
I am 18 years old.
All right. And that makes you a senior this year, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Now, when you are not at school, when you're at home, are you on a farm, are you in town, or are you something kind of in the middle of those two?
I'm kind of in the middle of those two. Where I go to school is a big farming community, so I'm surrounded by farming no matter where I am in the town.
Gotcha. Okay. And then how long have you been part of the FFA?
I've been part of the FFA since my freshman year in high school.
Okay. So what brought you in? Why did you join the organization?
I joined the organization because my dad and my uncles have been a big part of FFA, so I've always heard about it at family gatherings and telling stories and memories, so I've always been interested in joining myself.
Okay. So that was 4 years ago now, right?
Yes.
And so all the things you heard, did it pay off? Did it turn out to be a good decision?
Yes, definitely. I've enjoyed my time so much in the FFA, and I've learned so much and made so many memories that will last me a lifetime.
That's great. Well, I know you've been serving on a few different committees. Tell us about those.
So I serve on the scrapbooking committee, which every year we make a scrapbook per state. And the past few years, we've been pretty successful making our scrapbook, and I enjoy taking the pictures, and it's kind of just a collection of all the memories throughout the years. And then I've also served on the newcomer committee, so then the incoming freshmen come to our committee for any kind of questions or concerns with the chapter or just anything ag-related.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, you said you've seen some success with the scrapbooking committee at your state convention. So what does that mean when you say you've seen some success?
So we have made it through some of the different levels that in the past they never passed, like the first level. So our advisor was pretty excited that we moved on to the second and third levels. Okay.
So not only are you cataloging the things that have gone on and preserving those memories, but it's also a competition at the state convention.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Very cool. Good for you. Very good. And so you chose to get involved and kind of make a difference. And I think it's pretty important with what you're doing with the incoming freshmen, kind of showing them the ropes and making them feel welcome, right?
Yes, it is really important to always be there for each other and help them out.
Yeah, very good. Well, good for you. I'm glad that you've been doing that. And so here you are. You're getting ready to wrap up your senior year. Have you had the same FFA advisor all along, or have you had more than one?
Nope, I have had the same advisor all 4 years.
Okay. Well, let's acknowledge that person. Who is that for you?
It is Mr. Joshua Berg.
All right. Well, thank you for doing that. Well, Lyndsey, really quick, I want to acknowledge a couple sponsors of this show and everybody. Of course, I want to talk about Powder River livestock handling equipment, just some of the best livestock handling equipment for your cattle that you're going to find anywhere in this nation, anywhere in the world. You're always going to recognize Powder River by their distinct green color. And I will tell you what, they are big-time supporters of the cattle industry, big-time supporters of agriculture and agricultural education. They've been doing it for over 80 years, starting out here in the West with the craziest cattle you can find in this country, and they're still doing it today. Please check them out at powderriver.com. And of course, Lacrosse Footwear, everybody, just so proud to have Lacrosse Footwear as a sponsor of this show. And of course, every time I do an FFA interview, I love to talk about their support of the FFA. They are proud to support the FFA by annually supporting 15 scholarships along with 100 jackets as part of the Give the Gift of Blue program. And I will tell you what, they're Alpha Range boots. Those are the ones we're using here on our farm in Idaho, and we use them every single day. And, you know, we're always on the cusp of freezing and thawing in the winter on our farm. And so just the other day, I was in ankle-deep mud in my Alpha Range boots, and today I'm out there in the ice and the frozen mud, and my feet are dry, and then they are warm, and they've got traction, and they are comfortable, and they are going to work just the same for you. So please check them out over at lacrossefootwear.com and make sure you've got a pair on your feet. Okay, Lyndsey, we are here to learn about your supervised agricultural experience. What have you been doing?
So I have done my supervised agriculture experience in the area of food science and technology. So basically what I did with that is I researched food science experiments and kind of branched off that, what interested me, so I could learn more about food.
Okay, interesting stuff. Now, I just recently learned about this. So this is it can be a career development event, right? A CDE?
Yes.
Okay, interesting. But you turned your whole SAE into, or the whole focus of your SAE into food science and technology.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so tell us what that looked like. So what were you doing to actively participate in your SAE when it came to food science and technology?
So I would spend time researching different ideas or things that interested me about food, and then I would find experiments, or I came up with my own, and then I would perform the experiments. And recently, in the past year, I advanced my experiments to doing more like test subjects and more interviews and asking people questions. So that took up more time, but it was so valuable and knowledgeable. And then I would spend time reporting my findings and then recording them in my journal.
Okay, so give us an example of an experiment that you came up with.
So one experiment I came up with was what color is best to advertise food. Okay. So I did some research, and the options were yellow, red, and green. So then I picked various types of food, and I made a slideshow presentation, and I had 15 test subjects, and I asked them for each food what color made it look the most appealing, most appetizing.
Okay.
And overall, the color that made the food look the most appetizing was the color yellow.
Yellow, interesting. I would have guessed green, but that's why you do the experiment, right?
Yes.
Interesting. So you actually did like a focus group on this.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, how did you set this up? So I guess to start off, how did you find the people that were going to be part of your group that you were gonna show the colors to and ask the questions to?
So I tried to make it a variety of age range. So I volunteer at the local senior center. I asked about 2 or 3 of them to participate. Then I asked people at my job at Deli Star, and so then I would get that age range, and then I asked my fellow classmates to participate also.
Okay, so you had this wide array of age demographics represented. Did everybody do the study at the same time in the same room, or did they all look at these images individually and give you their results individually?
They looked at them individually and gave them individually.
Okay. Now, was it close, or was yellow just the overwhelming favorite?
It was close. It was close between yellow and red, actually. But yellow was more dominant over the red still.
Okay. Man, I'm horrible. My guess would have been green. Green came in a distant third place.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's why I do what I do, and I don't do that, obviously. Okay, very interesting.
when I asked why, after they gave me the results, why they chose what colors, a lot of them mentioned that green made them be more calm and not so that they wanted to get the food or buy the food. So It made sense after I asked them.
Okay. So with the information that you learned through this study, then is there a next step? Is there a practical application to what you've learned?
Yeah, so the practical application I was able to bring back to my job at Deli Star, which is a meat processing company.
Okay.
I brought it to the sales rep and told them that through this experiment, I found that yellow and red are the best, but overall yellow is better. And they actually used yellow in their next sale pitch flyer for the next month.
Really? And did they see any changes in the results with using that color in the flyer?
They actually used yellow and red, and they did say that they did see more results than when they used more mellow colors. Like in the past, they've used like grays and blues, but they did see more results with the yellows and red.
Very interesting. Now, what is your actual job at Deli Star?
My job at Deli Star is an office assistant.
Office assistant, but then you were able to take what you were learning in the FFA and go above and beyond, I guess, at your job and provide even more added value, it sounds like.
Yes.
Okay, really interesting. Now, this was one of the experiments that you came up with on your own. You kind of came up with this idea, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so where did this idea come from?
So I was just researching what is new or what's to do with food science, and it was saying how advertisement is a big part of a food science company. And I got to thinking, that's interesting that I never thought of the advertisement part of food science. I always thought of, what makes food or what processes happen to get us the food we need. So when I did some more research on food advertisement, it kind of brought me to oh, I wonder why certain companies use certain colors in their logos, and that's kind of how it got constructed.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, how did you get interested in food science and technology in the first place?
So I got interested through Deli Star. My dad worked there from when I was a little kid, and it was always interesting to go visit him at work and see the processes that they go through to bring us the food that they do. So I was always kind of interested in that. So when I got the opportunity to do more research with food science, I just took a hold of it and soared.
Okay, very good. And this has led you to a proficiency award at some point, is that right?
Yes, I won first in state last year at the Proficiency Awards.
Oh, very cool. Well, congratulations. Great achievement.
Thank you.
You bet. Now, so what was that in the food science and technology category, or what category was that?
It was in the food science technology category.
That is awesome. So when you say last year, was that last spring that you won that?
Yes, in 2019.
Okay, very cool. Now, with that, does that allow you to go on and compete at the next level?
Yes, I have filled out my application for the national level.
Awesome. So when will you find out the results in terms of whether or not you get to compete at the national convention?
I should get the results within the next month or so.
Okay, well, good luck on that. Are you excited?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. So if they allow you to compete, then that gives you the chance to be a national proficiency winner. Would that be correct?
Yes.
Awesome. Really, really exciting. Very cool. Well, so you got interested in this, observing what your dad did for a living and seeing the processes there. And then, of course, the FFA was the conduit to help you do experiments and take it above and beyond. You're going to graduate here in just a couple months. So what will be next for you after FFA, after high school?
So next I'm going to go to Maryville University, and I'm going to study actuarial science, which is not kind of far from food science, but my skills that I've learned through the FFA will help me with my career in the future.
Okay. So the only time I've ever heard that word actuarial is in the insurance industry for actuarial tables. So what is actuarial science?
So an actuarial science is a major for actuaries in the insurance business. They calculate risk for insurance companies.
Oh, okay. So it's in the same vein.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. So that's an interesting major. So do you plan on working in the insurance industry then?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So here you are. So this is all fascinating to me. So you're a senior in high school. What you've been doing through the FFA, I'm sure it's all somehow interrelated, but you haven't been focused necessarily on insurance or something like that. So what gets an 18-year-old interested in working in the insurance industry?
So I always wanted to do something with math because that was my favorite subject.
Okay.
And when I was talking to people in my community, one fellow community member said that she was an actuary and that she loved math, and that's why she went into it.
Okay.
And when I asked her more about it, did more research, I even went and job shadowed her at her job, and I just fell in love with it right away.
Good for you. So you already went out and did a job shadow, and you kind of took it upon yourself to go learn more about this career.
Yes.
That is great. Now, was it difficult to find a college that offered the major that would suit this industry?
Yes, because there are numerous universities that have a minor in actuarial science, but there are very few that actually have a whole program. So I was extremely lucky that I could find a university that was and so successful in the program also that is so close to home.
You know, this is such a, I don't know, it's not a major that you hear about a lot. I don't know how many students actually major in this. But in my mind, I'm sitting here thinking that it's probably not among the most popular. I don't know if that's true or not. But as I think of that, it makes me think that maybe majoring in this gives you opportunities, maybe for scholarships, maybe for internships, and things like that. Have you looked into that? Is there any truth to that thought?
Yes. When I went to have a meeting with the director of actuarial science at my university, he told me that because this field is so specialized and it's so difficult to get into, that usually before you graduate, you have 2 to 3 internships. So you have more experience when you graduate.
Very good. Well, that is great. So you're going to give lots of opportunities to learn in the classroom, but also to learn firsthand by going out and doing the work during your college experience, it sounds like.
Yes, I will.
That is great, Lyndsey. So let me ask you then, is there a way, with what you want to do with the actuarial sciences and the insurance industry and what you've done in the FFA, is there a way to tie all that together? Can you think of something that you've learned or a skill you've picked up in the FFA that you're going to be able to apply to the insurance industry?
Well, I have picked up through FFA that I've learned communication skills and writing skills and being able to describe my findings through my lab reports that I had to write. And as an actuary, when I analyze graphs and data and past records of insurance, I'm going to have to be able to communicate that through my writing for my reports to my supervisors. So actually, my work doing my lab reports for FFA will help me in my career.
Very cool. Well, I want to ask your advice for other students out there before we wrap up the interview. And here's what I want to know, and I want this for students that are coming in. You've already mentored freshman students coming into FFA. Just for anybody who would be listening, what's your advice for them if they get interested in a career or a job in terms of being able to go out and set up a job shadow like what you did? How would you have them go about doing that?
I would say to just take the opportunity if it arises and never just wait for it to come knocking at your door. You're going to have to take that extra step to find that opportunity, but it's going to be so beneficial in the long run. So don't be afraid to chase your dreams a little bit when you find what really fits for you in the future. I would say, find someone that's educated and find someone that can get you in so you can job shadow, because it's very important and it helps you be more confident that you really found what you want to do.
Awesome. Great answer. Lyndsey, this has been so cool. I've learned a lot talking to you. Thank you for coming on and sharing this with us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being here, everybody. It is always a pleasure to put these episodes together and to be here for you. Really appreciate you watching, and as always, enjoy your journey to the ultimate lifestyle business, agriculture.